It is almost 1 o'clock, and if you're like me, you're desperately thinking about where to go. If you haven't had lunch yet, you're probably starving. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone studios. The Tennessee Titans reportedly have their quarterbacks coach under new head coach Brian Callahan. It is former Raiders interim offensive coordinator Bo Hardegree. According to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, Hardegree was the QB coach in Vegas before being promoted to the interim OC in Week 9 after head coach Josh McDaniels was fired. He overlapped with Brian Callahan with the Denver Broncos and played at the University of Tennessee as a quarterback from 2004 through 2007. Hardegree, a Jackson, Tennessee native. The first injury report ahead of Super Bowl 58 came out on Wednesday. Tight end George Kittle and defensive tackle Eric Armstead of the 49ers were limited in practice. Chief star defensive tackle Chris Jones appeared on the injury report with a quad injury, but was a full participant. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Hey, today is loaded. Loaded. Like, we showed up with a briefcase full of load today. We're loaded.
Oh.
It's a big, this show is a giant load today.
As meaning the roster for
The show.
today.
Yes.
Yeah, on the show.
Yeah.
And when people get confused, they turn it on and say, loaded. Oh, Mickey's took some allergy medicine again?
No, I would not do that. I'm trying to keep this job, Blaine. I'm trying to keep this job. So we're gonna hit you with our opening salvo here. We're gonna hit you strong and fast like we do. Then we'll take a break. Then Brian Baldinger, Baldy's breakdowns, which is the best thing on the internet about football.
Man, I love Baldy's breakdowns.
And I know that's your guy. Also, you guys have similar hands. It's always interesting when
nothing like his hands. That finger going way the other way. He got a couple of them.
His fingers have made business decisions.
Yeah, he was an old lineman, so that was happening.
Yes. So the best hands in the game and the best internet football game in the game, Baldy will join us. And then we're going to make Buck follow him just because we're going to do that to Buck. And in the second hour, this is a real thing on earth today that is happening. Our friend Chelsa Messinger is going to not just call into the studio, she's coming to the studio.
Ooh, live and in person?
Yep, Vegas prop bets.
Oh.
She's local.
Uh-huh.
And she's always telling us, well, you guys have never asked me to come in the studio. So he said, okay.
Yeah, so we asked her, said, go to the Super Bowl or go to Blaine and Mickey show?
Yep.
And she says, no doubt I'm coming to the Blaine and Mickey show.
Yep.
Who would want to be in Vegas when you could be right here in Nashville?
She said,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, because she said what happens in Vegas never stays in Vegas. She said she would have brought it to Nashville because she said that's why this is Cashville.
It's it.
Nashville.
100%.
Nash Vegas, baby.
It's all of those things. And so she's going to be here celebrating that with us. So
Too bad I can't see myself today.
I can see, though. You look fine. People are talking about your hat.
They are. Oh, they can still see me?
Yes.
Even though I can't see them, I don't have it on.
Duck
I'll come
Falling
fix
is
it in a minute.
asking
I'll come
what
fix it
kind
in
of hat that is. He also said a giant load. And then he's asking questions
yeah.
about this.
Yeah, it's Rumble. Yeah, Rumble Bumble.
Rumble Bumble hat.
My wife is an investor in that company.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You always show up a little something that has the chat talking. You got the cool glasses. Now you got the cool hat. People need to see Blaine's feet every day, too. I don't mean your feet. That's how I learned that this radio station was a foot discussion about LeBron years ago.
His shoes, my
Yes.
shoes.
Your
My
shoes, Blaine's kicks.
Yeah. But right. The first time I met Mickey though was about my feet. See, look, he got out this point. What?
Really?
I used to work part-time on the station.
Yeah.
I moved away. Came back to record the last few songs that I thought I was ever going to record, and I drove by a radio station. So Angie was downstairs, who still works here, who produced Plaster Show and all those guys, and she's like, well, Brent and Blaine are upstairs. You should just go say hi to them. Clay is out today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to stir up the Clay people because there's still people who occasionally tell me, I hate you. You should have never took over for Clay. Okay, anyway. So I go up there and I sit down. I just sit in the studio. You guys are doing the show.
Yeah.
And the picture of – this is ironic. The picture of LeBron's feet.
That day, it got out.
That's out again.
Yeah.
That picture of his foot is now viral on the internet again.
Today?
Yes, yesterday.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Have you seen the picture of his foot?
I have not.
Oh, it is not a sight to see.
It is hammer time. One of his toes stands straight up. It looks like a hovercraft, and the driver sits in there that directs his foot. His foot is
Stupid.
is more messed up than a pile of coat hangers. And
Oh my.
so I'm like, we're in the commercial break. I said, have you guys seen this picture of LeBron's foot?
Yeah, and this was like years ago,
Yes,
too.
this was
I don't
over
know.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so Blaine was like, because Blaine and I had only in passing ever even been around each other. So Blaine's like, show me what you're talking about. I said, you're like, oh my gosh. So let me start talking about feet. And for some reason, David Reed was producing that day. It wasn't JT. So David Reed took his shoes and socks off. It was like, look at my feet. They look incredible. And you're like, oh,
Compared
man.
to LeBron James, man.
So then Blaine took his shoes and socks off. And I was like, Blaine has the feet of a newborn baby. It's like his feet were brand new. My feet are so messed up. And I didn't play 10 years of pro football and 4 years of college football. Blaine's feet look like God had just made them.
5 years of college football, by the way.
5 years of college football. I mean, I was 5 years of college.
Redshirted, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Watch this. I learned early on when I got to the pros, if you don't take care of your feet won't take care of you.
I mean, look at Deion Sanders.
And I used to laugh at the guys when they said that. I said, well,
Yeah.
what do you mean? They said, look, I go get my feet done. I said, oh, man, and I'm macho guys in the locker room. What? Oh, man, you go get your feet done, man. You go get your feet did. And, we just messing with them, right? They said, you better start going to get your feet done. And make sure they massage your feet and hit those points in your feet because those are points to your body. And where your body then will excel. And I'm talking about getting the toenails done, get clear, polish, all of that. So I started laughing at the time. Immediately, I said, well, let me just try one time. Let me go with one of y'all. So I went and said, okay. I told you I was a try. Oh, let me try. Let me go fishing with y'all.
Sure.
Y'all going to go at 3 in the morning? All right, I'm going to go. Let me try. Y'all going hunting in the morning? Oh, okay, I'll go. I'll try. So that's what I did. And then I just said, you know what? I need to keep doing this. Yeah, so now I kind of pretty much do it myself, but yeah. Even then 10 years ago, I was doing it myself. So yeah, so that's how my feet got like that. Now, they were already, I'm going to say that I was blessed with some, but I did take care of them. But I was definitely blessed. I'm in the locker room now, boy. It used to be some hammer toe coming up in there, hammer time all day long. Some of them I just felt bad for. I'm like, ooh. And guys, typical guys in the locker room, they make fun of other guys. So, man, I never did that, because I don't know, paranoid. All I could go through, I'll tell one quick story, is Perry Feedy's in there getting taped for practice. And then, so everybody's like, God dang, man, this is horrible. What's wrong with your feet? So he
That
comes
poor
and
guy,
tells
man.
us a
Catching
story
strays.
that he didn't even have bottoms on his shoes, and he wore holeless shoes, and he had to walk around in the country of Mississippi somewhere, and that's why his feet look like that. And boy, was it a sight to see. But I never said anything. I just used to be like, ooh,
There's a lot going on, huh?
Oh,
man.
my. I
Poor
couldn't
guy.
even describe it.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He lives in Dallas now.
Oh, God bless him and his feet.
There's a couple guys down there, D. Mitch and Denard Walker. There's a few of those DBs I was with down there in Dallas.
This has nothing to do with anybody's feet, but some Tennessee fans might be dancing on their feet when they saw this. Y'all see Lunardi's tweet earlier today after the 20-point win over LSU last night. They got dicey with a few minutes left, I might say.
They got bumped up into a number 1 seed.
Numero uno seed.
They have never been a number 1 seed.
Purdue, UConn, Houston, Tennessee. How about Houston, man? University of Houston.
Oh, man, they be rocking. Sampson is the coach there. Yeah, his son is the assistant coach. Actually, Sampson got thrown out the game the other day, so I happened to see the highlight there. Yeah, man, they rocking on.
Well, Mickey, with I think Arizona plays Utah tonight, and I think if they win, they'll be bumped back up into number 1, and Tennessee will be the first 2 seed.
Okay.
So that number 5 overall.
Now, explain this to me. Like, how are they the number 1 seed when they're not even number 1 in the SEC as of today? They are 4th. There's a three-way tie for first, and then they're 4th or half a game behind those 3 teams.
So I think
how does that work?
So I think with like basketball, it's like a
rules of scheduling and everything.
It's like a selection committee.
Mm-hmm.
Just like all the major tournaments, like with baseball, the College World Series, not the actual World Series at the end, but the entire tournament, the NCAA tournament, it's like a selection process. So you're selected in to a top seed, It's based off whatever committee selects it. I think it's the same with basketball.
Well, I think it has to do with scheduling your opponents and then how well you've done against some of the higher ranked opponents, even though they've lost some of those. But,
Yeah, and then
there's
there's
more to it than just a selection committee
Well,
there,
and
bananas. I
well,
mean, there's got to be a
they look at,
science
like,
to it.
They look at so they rank each win. So there's like a quad one,
Right.
quad two. So the more quad one wins you have, the higher you'll be ranked. So you might lose. So like Tennessee might be tied for third or fourth, whatever it is in the SEC right now, but they may have a certain number of quad one wins that Alabama, who I think is first, doesn't have.
Got you. Or Auburn or South Carolina, who are the teams ahead of them. But yeah, I was just curious because I'm sure they played a tough schedule. So outside of the SEC, so I'm pretty sure that's probably how. But you never know if it's better to be the 1 seed or the 2 seed. I'm sure everybody would say the 1 seed should have an easier route. But basketball is all about matchups, so you just never know.
Let's match up with Brian Baldinger next. Baldy from Baldy's Breakdowns. You know him, longtime NFL player, now one of the best in the business when it comes to breaking down the game. He is going to join us next, and we'll talk to him a little while. Then we'll talk to Buck a little while. So Baldy and Buck, both, next.
It sounds like a show.
Baldy, Buck, Blaine, Mickey. Yeah.
Bananas.
Boom. All right. All you people out there, men, women, you're dealing with hair loss. I'm talking to a lot of you who are doing it. Maybe you've been in denial, but you can't deny anymore because you got a mirror or you got old pictures of yourself and you know what you look like now. Well, look, why not do something about it? It's one of the craziest things. Like if your car had a flat tire, would you just keep driving? No, you wouldn't. If your roof was leaking, would you just keep putting buckets in the floor? No, you'd get it fixed. Why don't you get your hair fixed? You can do it. WeGrowHair.com, PAI Medical, the best in the business. If you're listening to this show, you're probably either in Nashville or spending time in Nashville. Well, you could spend some time down at PAI, and they take care of you. They've got the best procedure in the business, multi-unit hair grafting procedure. It is a one-time procedure that gives you more hair in one procedure. It saves you time and money. Think about that. One day of your life, go get it done. The rest of your life, your hair growing on your head, and it's your own hair. There's no voodoo. There's no weird science. There's no nothing. They can explain it all. And they've got other programs, too, depending on where you are in the journey. So why don't you call them today? It's a free consultation. The first time you go, it's a free consultation. They'll tell you how you got to where you are and how you get to where you want to be. Permanent natural results from the company you can trust. PAI Medical Group, WeGrowHair.com. Call them today. Tell them I sent you. 615-376-6010. Blaine and Mickey, 1045 Zone. We're going to get wild in a minute or two here with Baldy NFL, at Baldy NFL on Twitter. Bananas is efforting him. He is somewhere in the friendly confines of Las Vegas right now.
Right. It's at the Super Bowl, so don't plan on him calling, on time. All other interviews go over. It just continues. It could be in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. But, yeah, man. That's how it works at the Vegas Super Bowl.
Man.
Any Super Bowl.
So some people, if you're young enough, you're like, I know that guy. He's on Twitter. He breaks down football games, right? And then, obviously, we remember him as a football player. He was an NFL football player. He and his brother both. One of the cool things about this show, and I'll say this, we weren't planning on talking about this. We'll have Baldy in just a minute. He takes film and breaks it down. And he'll say, like, here's, watch how Fred Warner plays this play. And then he'll have it. Maybe he's got a different angle. You are really good at that, too.
Yeah, well, I have to say that when I first got in the radio, Baldy used to come on regularly, and then, there was a point in time where he just couldn't fit it in, sponsors and everything else. But, so I talk to him pretty regularly, especially when he comes here and watch some of the Titans game. I love it because not only that his breaks down is his narrative when he's talking about the actual plays.
Yep.
He's doing football narratives, and the way it's like he's a DJ of the video. It is awesome. I wish I could do that. I wish I was great at giving tag names to players and just, it's unbelievable. It's special. It really is.
What he does, though, and what you do on the show, and when we were doing post-game, and you would get to immediately react to games, but people get that now on our show on Monday. You can get it, the Blaine and Mickey experience and get Blaine breaking down stuff. He does it in real English like you do. Maybe that's one of the things you kind of picked up from him.
I did.
Because he's not saying this is a three-high safety look with a red dog blitz. He's not saying that.
No.
He's saying, watch him come down. Watch how fast the safety comes down, and then he gets blocked. He's just explaining it in terms.
Gets
Everybody
off
goes,
his block and bam! That's what I'm talking about. That is how you play safety, or whatever. It's
whatever
just like,
it is.
Yeah. And I took a lot of hints when I first got on radio and Baldy was one of them. He's like, make sure you dumb it down so you just act like you're talking to whoever that is. He says, for me, I act like I'm talking to my wife and I want to explain to her, and her knowledge in football is just kind of gained over time, just kind of telling her the simple parts of the game and just explaining to her, dumb it down, and don't talk about, oh, okay, this is 12 personnel. Most people don't know what 12 personnel is.
Right.
So why would I? But everybody knows what 2 tight ends is,
right?
And 1 running back and 2 wide receivers. So that's I learned that from him and John McClain. Those are the 2 people when I'm describing, the team, or when I started radio and John McClain. Those guys really kind of gave me I would say things to know while you're in the industry and when you're on air. So yeah, I definitely stole some of those things from those guys, but I'm nowhere near as good as either one of those guys. Those guys are Hall of Fame type radio people. McClain's a Hall of Fame writer, and this man, they're great human beings too at the same time. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting game. We're sitting here watching Joe Montana, who in my era growing up, I thought Joe Montana was the greatest quarterback to ever live. And then to get a chance to play his last year against him with the Chiefs was really cool and fascinating at the same time, because there were some aha moments for me just seeing him on the other side, even though he was in a different uniform. It was just like, dang, that's Joe Montana, and just to see, he wasn't a big, massive-looking human being like Josh Allen or McNair or, some of these big quarterbacks. So it was really unique, and just seeing what he could do and how he took command to all the great ones that I got a chance to play against. So that was pretty cool. So just seeing him up there, and then this thing, Steve Young, pretty much after he got injured, took his job with San Francisco, and you would never think that would happen. That's when you're starting to learn about the business of the NFL, and this is all my rookie year, let alone we traded Warren Moon. So I thought, this is a whole different level, because I practiced and played again. And I knew how good he was. And so you see guys like that get traded, and it seems like they should play for the same organization at least all the way till they can't even put the shoes on or something, the cleats. So, but yeah, that happened, and he went on to play, I guess, 4 more years, and then Warren ended up playing, many more years after that.
He played until he was in his mid-40s.
Yeah, he was 44, I think. His last team, by the way, he played for the Chiefs.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, for the
Him
Chiefs.
and that number 1 in the Chiefs. That was so smooth.
Beautiful, wasn't it?
He is one of just the smoothest Warren,
Yeah.
the really big guy, and the number 1, which looked fantastic. And you got the arm, and he had the smoothest throwing motion.
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. You know, I was listening to his story. I didn't know all of his story. I was listening to him on NFL Network yesterday or 2 days ago. I've been zoomed in on the channel, so I'm getting days confused now. Probably Tuesday. And, you know, how, you know, he didn't get drafted. And during that time, you know, there weren't any, I think, black quarterbacks in the National Football League. So he had to go through the CFL route. So he was talking about overcome a lot of different hurdles. They were, you know, so they asked him this question. I think it was, what's the GM used to be of the Colts or the Bills, Peloli. He was the one that asked him the question, and he was back in studio. And so he went through all the different machinations of how hard it was for him. And he used his mother, who I guess he was raised with 6 sisters, and he was the only boy. So I didn't know any of this, by the way. And I played with him. Yeah, so he was kind of the man of the house. And so he saw his mother getting things done. I guess it was just him and his mother, you know, and all the girls. And so if she could do it, I could do it. And so I believed that I could do anything. And so when he got his opportunity, he felt like they said, "Did you have a chip on your shoulder?" He said, "No, I had a boulder on my shoulder."
Wow.
So I had never even heard of this story. It's a guy I played with and been around with the whole, you know, over these years. And we've never had that kind of discussion. And, you know, I was a young kid. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in college and pro football at 10 and when he was, you know, probably, you know, getting into the league. So it was just enlightening just to see everybody has different hurdles to Brock Purdy. And him being a late round pick. And he said the same thing Dan Marino said as I said on air. All quarterbacks are game managers. He said the exact same thing. And then he said, it's when those big moments happen, do you then rise to the occasion and make a play? Then you become a game changer. So he said, but, you know, all of us were game managers. It's our job. He says, we're like a point guard. We just get it to our playmakers. So it was kind of interesting to hear 2 Hall of Fame guys kind of somewhat say the same thing. They said it in their own way, but that's what it meant. You know, so I thought that was interesting. And that's how it led to his conversation about him to Brock Purdy and how he had to overcome some hurdles just because of his size or whatever it was. But he said he's an elite quarterback.
And it's funny because a lot of it just comes down to what kind of game are you asked to manage.
Yeah.
In the case of Dan Marino, in an era where people ran the ball, they didn't always run the ball that much.
No.
He had Mark Clayton and Mark Duper, the Marks brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They had
who went to my high school?
Nat
Mark
Moore.
Clayton, Moore. But their running back was Tony Nathan.
Yep. Who was a dual guy.
Yeah.
You could throw him the
Passing
ball,
guy.
and then later
Pass
your
receiver.
Ball State teammate, Bertie Parmalee, who
Yeah.
could catch the ball too. They ran a pass-happy offense. That's what they ran. And boy, did he manage it. Oh, my gosh, did he manage those games, throwing it to all those guys. But at the same time, you had like Troy Aikman, who was managing the Cowboys. He doesn't have great stats. His stats are not much more even than McNair's, for example.
Irvin, Harper, UT, right?
Yep.
And what, Novacek?
Novacek, Emmitt Smith.
Johnston and Emmitt Smith.
So they had Daryl Johnson and Emmitt Smith. They ran the ball as much as they threw it. They were a really balanced team. And he managed no mistakes, didn't throw the ball away. Michael Irvin was
Got
great.
him 3 rings.
3 rings. And nobody ever's like, oh, Aikman's a game manager. They're like, oh, no, Aikman's a Hall of Famer.
Because he won championships. So, that's
Have we lost our guy Baldy?
Unfortunately, I was told that there was a crisis on the media row floor, and
I hope everybody's
What does
okay.
that mean?
I don't know. That's all I was told, and Baldy will not be available during our showtime.
Okay. Well, as long as he's okay, that's all that matters because
Yeah.
we'll catch up to him. And Buck is going to be in here. I guess we could page Buck.
But Buck's actually here?
Yeah.
In
Is
the
he here
building.
or
He's
is
in
he
the-
calling?
We'll be calling him on the phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay, I was going to say.
Well, you can get that rascal on the phone then.
Yeah, we can get him.
We'll get Baldy. We'll just watch the breakdowns. Maybe we can just play some of those. This is what's going to blow people's mind. Let's say the 49ers win this game. And what if Brock Purdy, runs for 35 yards and a couple of really key gains, throws a game-winning touchdown pass? All those people, it's just a game. What are you going to say then? If they win the Super Bowl?
Watch this. The naysayers, they're going to say he's going to have to do it one more year.
Oh,
That's what they're going to say.
they're going to. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the rest who are saying, who were in the middle, and they're going to say, hey, man, he got it done. At the end of the day, I kind of root for the underdog. It's hard to go against Mahomes and this legacy that they're building here with Kansas City. is really fascinating to just watch it in person, even as a young player. That's why I asked the question. To me, at this point in time, he is better than, and I thought I'd never say this, than Tom Brady. Tom Brady's teams were led by their defense. Now, you could say the Chiefs are led by their defense, but the difference maker is still Mahomes.
Yep.
So in his first 6 years, in what is this, his fourth Super Bowl he's in?
Yes.
Which he could win 3, in 6 years is pretty, wow. So if he gets this one, I would have to say in the beginning stages of Brady's first 3, I would say Mahomes is better. And I don't think I'd ever say that. Now, at the last 3 were naturally Tom Brady carried it all. I mean, but the first 3, they were a defensive dominant. I mean, they had dudes. I mean, Vrabel was one of them on defense with Willie McGinnis, Ty Law. I mean, you could go Teddy Bruschi, Vince Wilfork. I mean, when I know their names, these dudes were household, and these dudes was bad, you know what. And so, yeah, this is going to be something. And another thing I keep saying is kind of interesting. I hear everybody saying this, and I'm just making a bold prediction, is that Andy Reid's going to retire. And everybody goes, oh, that sounds so silly because he could just ride the coattails of Mahomes from here on out.
Sure.
Which is true. So, yeah. So what I'm saying is I think he's going to go in the front office, and I think he's going to bring Eric Bieniemy because this is how great of a person Andy Reid is. But the normal culture would have been selfish. They'd be like, nah, I'm never doing that. So I just believe something's up because we haven't heard him being quoted. I'm sure they've asked him that this could be his last game. Are you going to retire after this? I haven't heard anybody say what his response is. It's been out there in the verse, right? Everybody's talking about it, but nobody's directly asked him at the Super Bowl. Or have they?
I haven't heard that they have.
Only thing I've heard about that is Eric Bieniemy has been in offensive meetings with the Chiefs players and talking to the offensive players and staff.
Yeah. But nobody's asked him about if this could be your last game.
Not that I've seen, because I feel like that would make the rounds.
Boy, could you imagine? Because that would take me back to the great Bill Walsh. Because you remember there's the interview of him. Is it Brent Musburger?
Yeah.
And they're holding the Lombardi trophy in the locker room. And he goes, there's a rumor that this could be your last. Remember?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we're all watching this.
Yeah.
There was no internet at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he goes, there's a rumor that this could be the last game for the great Bill Walsh. I have goosebumps thinking about this. And he broke down. His son was standing next to him. And he just dropped into his son's arms. And then basically acknowledged, that was it. And then George Seifert got the team after that.
Right.
But third Super Bowl, retired. And he kept coaching. I think he went back to Stanford, remember, for a while. And now then he got sick. He passed away way too young because of cancer. But it's not out of the threshold for somebody to go, yeah, I'm going to the next thing.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be shocked just to make his schedule easier.
Yeah.
Just to be upstairs, just because that's who Andy Reid, man. I wouldn't be stunned. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
And as you mentioned, because Mahomes, well,
I mean, you could just ride his coach as Mahomes. This is going to be Mahomes. I mean, now he's overcome all the things that his little deficits and quirks in his game.
Yep.
This year, he's proven that. Oh, now he's kind of matured and he's taking what the defense gives him. He's been patient, even with the guys dropping the ball. And man, he's come a long way.
And got, like you said, he got through all that. And those guys started to make plays. Marquez Valdez-Scantling caught the ball that ended the game the other day.
The young Rice.
MVS. Oh, Rice, yeah.
The Rice.
And Kadarius Toney not even playing for whatever reason. Is he injured? Is something else going? So you're right. He's getting it done. Maybe this is what truly puts him in the GOAT conversation with Brady. Because every time Brady started a season, you're like, well, they're Super Bowl. They're in the window to win the Super Bowl, even with the Bucs. And even the last year with the Bucs, they still have Brady. Mahomes is that. If Mahomes is on your team, you're in your Super Bowl window. So Andy Reid could absolutely just, oh, no, man, I'm going to get 2 or 3 more of these things. You kidding me?
Yeah, it's easy to do that, right?
Because this is number 5 for him. Tom Landry and him both have 5. So Landry went 2 and 3. If Andy wins this, he'll be 3 and 2 in his 5. And I got to look and we're going to talk to Javon Curse. You'll hear him tomorrow, the freak. And I got to looking at his career, and I'm like, wait a second. He left here in like 2003. Andy Reid.
Oh, they gave him a boatload of money. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was his coach. Andy Reid was like 41, 42.
Yeah, when Jim Johnson was the DC there,
Yeah.
still there.
Oh, as you've mentioned, John Harbaugh.
He's passed away.
That staff was loaded
Yeah.
with future coaches and great
Mm-hmm.
coaches. Spagnuolo, I mean, like everybody was on that staff. But Andy Reid was the head coach. And then you start looking at his records.
They went to NFC championships all over. They couldn't get over the hump.
Went to, 4 of them in a row.
Right. And they used to always talk about him. He couldn't manage the game when it got tight in those critical moments, which were definitely were true. Mm-hmm.
This is, I guess I thought of the 4 Super Bowls for Mahomes, but somebody tweeted this. So he's been a starter for 6 years. He set the 1 year behind Alex Smith. All 6 years they've played in the AFC Championship game.
That is insane. That is insane.
And he's only had one road AFC Championship game. That was this year.
Won that too.
But that was another hurdle. He said, "Oh, okay, I've never been on a road. Oh, well, I'll show I can get that too."
Watch this.
And they did it on a day where, I mean, the defense helped them a lot, but they did enough and scored enough to beat the Ravens in Baltimore. And that's easier said than done, as everybody knows.
He made the throws when he needed to at the end of the game.
Well, everybody else is just trying to find, like the Titans. Who did we have on earlier this week? Was it Chris Myers? He was talking about Will Levis. You said, what do you think about him? He goes, well, what do you guys think? I mean, you think he's the guy? And you said, we think enough to know that he's going to be the guy in the interim for sure. They're going to find out what they got in him.
And get some pieces around him, yeah.
That's what everybody's trying to do. Just think of hitting on, because every NFL generation is like maybe 20 years or so, 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. So Montana was the guy of his generation. Mm-hmm. And then maybe it morphed into a little bit somebody here or there, but for the most part it was Montana. Then he handed it off to Brady because he came not long after. Peyton Manning.
Well, Peyton and, those
So Montana to Manning, Manning to Brady, and now Brady to Mahomes, where it's just that guy, and your team goes out on the field, and they're Super Bowl contenders. And the Chiefs sometimes start slowly, or they'll lose a couple of games in a row in the middle of the season. Everybody wants, that's it. No. You get rid of the cheetah. Guys come and go, guys dropping balls. Like you said, Mahomes just, okay.
Oh, I knew there was going to be no issue once Cheetah left. I guess I had to think for a minute. The receivers on our team in Philadelphia. Like, who are our receivers?
Todd Pinkston.
Who is that? If you go look on the sideline of the Chiefs, he's their running back coach.
Yeah. He's the skinniest. He's the skinniest professional football player
like
I ever remember seeing in my life.
And 75 pounds. I used to be like, this dude can play? What? I'd never even heard of him from Southern Miss. I think he went to Southern Miss. Great dude, too. He produced. Mitchell from UCLA. We had Antonio Freeman.
Fast Freddie, who wasn't.
Yeah, he was not fast. He first-round pick. And then they had, Antonio Freeman. They had James Thrash. These is not household names. Nobody's heard of these dudes. Went to the NFC Championship. Went to the Super Bowl the next year. With those dudes.
Well, the next year, I had a guy named T.O., man. He was on a broken foot.
Yeah, wait, T.O., he was different now. For him to wait 3 times to put him in that, every time, that was a joke there. And you go back, and everybody always act like, oh, no, he was a cancer, he was a bad dude. Like, just think about some of the stuff he got in trouble for. Like, he never got in trouble for something off the field. It was never anything like that. It was just on the team. Mm-hmm. Dude's not he was a guy that wanted to win bad, and he was kind of misunderstood, in my opinion, because he thought he was great. And he's like, give me the ball. He was a personality. And part of that is how you get to that point. The other part is how you manage that as a coach and a team. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of his stuff, in the driveway pumping the weights now, went that far. But just think about it. But that was perceived as bad.
Right.
He was in his driveway lifting weights.
Right. Then he did some sit-ups.
Yeah. Right. Come on, man. Are y'all serious here?
All right. Here's what's going to happen. Blaine's going to tell you about Cool Ray because you need them in your home and they got to help take care of you. Then we're going to call Buck Reising. We'll finish up this hour with him. It is Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone.
If someone hasn't asked you already, maybe you've asked yourself, what is my resolution for 2024? Well, luckily for you, thanks to the team at Cool Ray Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, I've got some great ideas for how you can take care of yourself and your home better this year. And maybe you want to be better about saving money? Well, consider a $69 tune-up on your home's heating system so you can ensure your HVAC system operates at the highest efficiency. And if you need a new system this year, Cool Ray's industry-leading warranties save you money in the long run. And maybe you want to be better about taking care of your health. Well, if you're stocking the fridge and freezer with good food because you're hoping to eat better, don't let the next power outage from the storm spoil that food. You can get a free estimate on a whole home generator from Cool Ray's electrical team. And their generators will also keep any medical equipment or other necessary appliances on 24/7, rain or shine. So find that resolution you can stick to this year and schedule your next visit for any of their services at coolray.com. That's coolray.com.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Let's get our man Buck Reising in here. Our normal Thursday guest. Buck is brought to you by Two Rivers Ford, home of the non-commissioned salespeople. Buck doesn't charge us any commission for these spots that he does with us. We appreciate that. Bucky, how's your day treating you, man? You got Super Bowl fever yet? Who's your pick for the Super Bowl? Let's just start with that. We know how much you love to pick games.
It's my favorite. I don't pick against Mahomes. That one's easy.
Oh, you know him, huh?
Yeah, that's
No. I would very much enjoy. Well, actually, I don't know. There seems to be a lot of things going on around him. That's like one of those levels of famous that you don't want to be, right? Like Taylor Swift is not a level of famous that anybody wants to be. I don't think it would be fun to be around that kind of just gravitational pull. I don't think that would be enjoyable at all.
I just think if you were Taylor Swift and it was 9 o'clock at night and you needed some cough drops, I mean, you can't go into Walgreens. You have to send somebody in. You got to have a cough drop guy.
We asked somebody asked Derrick Henry a question about doing something after a game or a recent performance. Maybe it was the end of the season. He's like, you do not understand. I don't really go places in public. Like that's not something that I'm able to do. I can't, like you said, can't just go down to Walgreens. Can't stop in a local coffee spot, grab a cup of coffee, like whatever. You gotta be very, very meticulous about how you plan your day.
Brock Bowers wasn't meticulous in how he planned his day. He just said he wants to be here. Are you good with the Titans just rolling up on a tight end at number 7? He wants to be here. We did some investigative reporting, and some of our listeners said, his girlfriend goes to University of Tennessee. He's wanting to stick around here. You ready for that, Buck?
Inside info, Buck.
Yep.
We know you love that.
I love it. I'm for all the campus tea that you got. That's that kind of, Blaine. Like I laugh, but as if that stuff doesn't matter. That's the most human thing for a kid coming out of college to want to be in proximity to where his girlfriend goes to school or whatever. Like that would be hilarious if that's actually why. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad at them if they take one of the better tight end prospects that we've seen in recent memory. He's an all-around player. He fits within a blocking scheme. He's obviously a high-level pass catcher, which is something that the Titans are in short supply of, reliable pass catchers. I don't hate that at all.
Buck Reising, we don't hate when he gives us his opinion here on Blaine and Mickey.
Bananas, give us the stat of Hayden Hurst's time under Brian Callahan and Zach Taylor offense as a tight end in his offense. Not to say Hayden Hurst is as good as Bowers or vice versa, but it gives you a little bit of a gauge of how much he would use the tight end in his offense.
The most receiving yards for a tight end in the Bengals as Brian Callahan as the offensive coordinator was 493 yards.
By Hayden Hurst.
Yes.
How many catches?
I'd have to. I think it was in the 30s, 20s or 30s.
I wanted him to bring that up for you because he brought that up when we talked about this a couple of days ago. Do you think that is enough? Let's just say 500 yards from the 7th pick of the draft at tight end.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats now. So he played 13 games, 52 catches, 414 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hayden Hurst in that Callahan offense. The thing that I do look at, Blaine, because I get your point. His success rate, particularly on first downs, how often he was catching passes that were converted for first downs. Half of his catches were
first
for
downs?
first downs. Now,
I like me some Hayden Hurst, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I do. I wanted the Titans to sign him when he was a free agent.
No, I remember you being very passionate about that. And he had – that was a really nice year for him. Now, Carolina last year, obviously things this past season were not good anywhere, but still. So I get your point. You want more. And Hayden Hurst was also a first-round pick. It's like they're not all Sam Laporta. A lot of these dudes struggle.
Yeah, but when he's a 7th?
In their rookie year, yeah.
He was 25th overall, Hayden Hurst.
25th is totally different than with expectations for 7th.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, hell, to take Corey Davis at 5, like he almost had to be Julio Jones, or he was going to
he was always
be
gonna
below
be a
expectations, right? Like that's the kind of player that you're talking about. Now Bowers is different. Blaine, why can't he turn into wide receiver 1 here?
Because his name is behind his name. It says tight end, so he can't be wide receiver 1. What do you mean? You mean, can he be the number one target?
Okay, let me call him. Let me target one. Top target.
I think potentially. I think he could. I think it's kind of hard to say what a tight end actually will become in this league. I think it would be worthy. I think he's a generational player. I love him as a player. It's going to be a tough call on draft day if he's available. Then you got a great tackle and a great wide receiver at the same time, all available. And you say, who can impact my team the most immediately? Yeah. And everybody's going to bring up the Bengals and what happened with them. By the way, I'd say that the Bengals and their quarterback has been injured a lot, by the way. Even, you get hit even sometimes when you throw the ball. So without him out there, they still seem to do well. But we're trying to protect the quarterback. So I'm probably a little more conservative than most. But, the Bengals can say that they did that, but they're the only ones that can say they did that.
Well, and to your point, Blaine, he's not Joe Burrow. Levis is not Joe Burrow.
Right.
These are not the same kind of players, okay? And I don't want to say that Luck is a closer comparison, but I like the situation as a parallel.
That's a good
right?
one. That's a good one, yeah.
Where Luck comes in, I mean, they're physically closer to one another for sure. Luck, obviously, a higher level player, but when Luck got to Indianapolis, he was able to survive their offensive line situation. He was playing well in spite of their offensive line situation. Now, Luck was different because he just, is of a different mindset and saw it as a point where he was tired of his body feeling terrible all the time because he was just taking beatings after beating in Indianapolis behind terrible offensive line before they finally started to get it right after the Quentin Nelson draft. And it cost them one of the best quarterback talents that we've seen in a long, long time. So you can ruin these dudes if you don't get that situation corrected. If you skirt it too much. So I don't think it's. You said conservative. I don't think it's wrong to be cautious. Like this, it's okay to play it safe here because you want him safe, right? Mm-hmm. It is going to be an interesting scenario if, let's say, that the second tackle, whoever falls to, the second tackle between Fashanu and Alt, and Malik Neighbors, a wide receiver, I brought him up on the radio show today, and Bowers are all there in or around 7, right? Yeah. How is it that they approach it? I think Bowers is the highest level prospect at his respective position because it does drop off dramatically at tight end this year. It's not like last year where you found a bunch of dudes who contributed right away. It is going to be an interesting decision for them because Blaine, I'm so down with taking a tackle. I have watched them be undermined for 4 seasons.
I'm just hoping they have the options, and whatever option they go, I think I would be happy either way. It's just that, sometimes I just think, where is your team at? Like if we finish 9, I say we the Titans 9 and 8. I think then you can say, okay, we want a playmaker, because that means your tackles actually probably did halfway decent, but they didn't. So then I go, what kept us from being at least a playoff contending team? And I would say, and I said this all season, the offensive tackle, Dillard, ruined the dang on freaking team. That's what I would say, because then all the other dominoes didn't fall into place because of that position. So that's the only thing that
they had to get
tough.
Right.
Yeah. Now we got Coach Callahan coming in, the dad, who's one of the best to ever be a O-line coach. So can he fix, and maybe you take a risk and get a guy in the second round, and he can make into who has a lot of upside, and then you take that Bowers or that wide receiver in the first round. We don't know that. So sitting from this perspective, so then I could see how you could say you take that kind of risk. If they believe that he watches film and says, I can fix this guy, I can do this with this guy, and then we can get a really good player in the second round, man, I'd be all for it. Mm-hmm. See, so there are different options that the Titans will have.
Oh, sure. And all of this, this comes after free agency, which is the thing I feel like we have to remind ourselves about. They're going to address a variety of different things in free agency. We're talking about the team with the second most cap space in football. It will be even a drastically different roster by the time we get to the draft itself. So their decision-making will be informed by that, whether it's wide receiver, depth, offensive linemen, swing tackles, tight ends even, because Chig and Wiley are there, right? They're not – you can't just totally gloss over them. I think that a new coaching staff does change things for a lot of people, right? I don't think you can look at every player on this roster that's underperforming and say, all right, here is a reclamation project for the new Titans coaching staff to make right. They may not want to, right? They may want their own guys and make decisions as a result. So we'll see how that plays out for a variety of different players who have come onto this team in the last couple of years. But it's said by people smarter than me about scouting college football, guys, that this is a good offensive line draft to get your offensive line right. Now, that doesn't guarantee that they will be good immediately. All rookie offensive linemen struggle no matter how good a prospect they are. So you have to account for that learning curve too. But God knows that they could afford to spend 2 of these 8 picks that they have right now on offensive linemen. They need quality starters. They need quality depth.
Our man, Buck Reising. All right, we're a little bit over, but like 20 seconds, Buck. Favorite Buck Reising Super Bowl food that you must have that you will consume during the Super Bowl on Sunday?
I see, but I'm going to be at a Super Bowl party, and I don't like to eat things like wings in public. I feel like that's just such a
Come on, man.
You know,
What?
there are so many opportunities to look dumb or have just terrible, unflattering things end up on the
That's
internet.
what makes
So
you
I'm not a
human.
wings person.
Yeah.
The licking your fingers. Oh, man, that was so
No,
good.
Well, yeah, but Blaine, that stuff grosses me out anyway. Like I'm too much of a prick for that. Talking to nobody.
You're a robot, and then it gets in your cracks of your robotic hand.
My guy, I eat French fries with a fork and knife. Okay.
So
I don't
you're
like
that
mess.
guy.
So, like, Super Bowl food questions are not
Oh,
for me.
man.
I don't like all the messy foods. I don't like public food.
So do you eat your hamburger you cut it up?
No, I don't cut it up like a child.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. I'm just wondering. You just said you eat your French fries with.
That's more normal. French fries are greasy. I don't want my fingers all gross and greasy afterwards. Like at least a hamburger, you can put a napkin around it. You're not,
Oh, okay.
A napkin around your hamburger. What are we even doing here? Come on, man. French fries with a fork and a napkin around your hamburger?
Uh-oh. Thank
listen,
you for coming up with the
this
rest of
was-
our show. We really appreciate it.
You-
We're about to ask the
that.
whole world
Ask me the
about
you-
eating.
I don't understand how the two of you can get mad at me when you ask me a question that you know I'm going to answer in a weird way because I'm weird. All right. I do get weird.
No, we didn't get mad at you. We just
Not
like,
bad.
whoa, we didn't
Not
know this
bad.
about you.
Just happy to learn more about you, to peel
Yeah, we
another
did.
layer off the
We
onion.
were just trying to have a fun question, and
Yeah.
you just made it into a real fun. So we're about to make fun of you. So
And
good
by fun-
talking to you. Talk to you next
Yeah,
Thursday.
by fun, he means weird. All right, Buck, enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll talk to you next week.
This is the kind of stuff my therapist has to deal with. I'll talk to you guys.
Oh,
All right.
man. Oh,
Wow.
That is the first question. How do you eat your hamburger, fries, and everything else? Do you eat it like Buck and you cut everything up?
Or will you not eat wings in public?
Yeah.
615-737-1045. Woo, you know it's just about time for the big game. Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. If you're like me, you love Super Bowl Sunday. I love it. My whole life, I've loved it. And it just gets bigger and better all the time. And hanging out with the family and the friends and the food and the football, it's just like a national holiday. It should be. And FanDuel, they got so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3 on this national holiday. Maybe you're like me. You like a anytime TD from Pacheco, maybe also one from CMC. Well, not only can you bet on who's going to score a touchdown or who's going to win the game or how many points will be scored, you can bet on all sorts of things on FanDuel. And new customers can join today and get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. You just visit FanDuel.com/Mickey to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/Mickey, and you'll make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You'd have to be 21 or older, though. Present in Tennessee, $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Whew, it's Thursday. We're in the downhill run of the Thursday show, which means it's practically the weekend. Chelsa Messinger is here.
Yeah, she's on her way.
She's going to jump in the studio with us in the next segment. So you hear her every Thursday, and she brought up, you knuckleheads have never even asked me to come to the studio.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, you're invited. Officially.
No. She said she'd rather come here than the Super Bowl.
Yes.
By the way, there is a leak on Radio Row. That's what was going on with Baldy. And must have been a pretty big leak there. So I think they had to evacuate Radio Row for safety precautions there, which is crazy. It's been raining down there in Vegas. So, yeah, that's what was going on Radio Row for Baldy.
They were not ready for rain, apparently, in Las Vegas.
No, it's a desert.
We were at the Super Bowl when it was in Arizona. This has been several years ago. And I remember they were having a weather event. They were breaking into news coverage because it was breaking news for weather. And we're all like, is there going to be a tornado? And we asked somebody, they're like, no, man, it's raining.
Yeah.
They had weather alerts for rain, also desert.
Yeah.
So
you got to have a weather alert for Buck there, man. That last segment, man. Can you kind of summarize what happened there?
Okay. So it's Super Bowl week, as we all know. Bunch of y'all are
going
probably
to Super Bowl parties.
Bunch of y'all are playing in the biggest Sunday ever of your life, which is the way it's supposed to be. So Buck was on with us. Hey, man, on the way out, like 20 seconds, hit us with your favorite Super Bowl food. How easy of a question is that for
that was a
99?
layup.
That's a layup question.
Mm-hmm.
Throw something out there cool. Pizza,
wings,
dip, cheese dip, anything.
Right.
Like anything is acceptable.
Yeah.
But,
Can't
well,
go
I'm
wrong.
going to a party, so I don't really like to eat in public. And
No, he doesn't like eat wings.
he
in
said,
public.
so I can't say wings or something like that because I can't eat those in public.
And I said, what? Because he didn't want to get all messy and he got to
Yes.
lick his fingers or wipe
Yes.
them off.
So he had a full, just closet full of reasons why. So we're like, okay, man, we'll just pivot to something else. And he's like, well, I would eat French fries with a fork because I don't want to get my fingers greasy.
Hmm?
And then just amidst our shock,
Where are you getting your French fries? They're that greasy?
amidst our shock and horror.
Yeah. Then he tried to bounce on us like we were acting kind of weird. No, you're being weird.
Don't forget that he eats his burger wrapped in a napkin.
Because he doesn't want all the gushy, mushy, all that lackness, that stuff you like, Mickey, coming out the lettuce and mustard and the tomato
That's what makes
juice.
it great.
Mm-hmm. He don't want to get that on his hand.
Eats his hamburger. So you said, wait a second. Do you cut your hamburger up?
Then he acted offended.
No, I'm not a child. I don't cut it into bites like a child. But then he had it. But I do eat it with a napkin around it. A napkin around his hamburger.
So, but please, anyone call in, give us your opinion on eating wings at a Super Bowl party or putting a napkin over your burger. Hey, there's no harm, no foul here. We just try to make sure Buck's, is Buck just worried about his image so much here that it just doesn't want to look like he's not cool or something? I don't know, because I sure will pick up my burger with two hands and put it over the plate, and if it's gushes out there, the batter. Oh, I love it.
A good burger doesn't stay together.
No,
Yeah,
man.
Exactly.
A good burger
man.
is a disaster.
Oh, man. And then when I
Seriously.
pick up my wings, I want to be tearing that thing apart, and I'm going to lick my fingers, and that thing was, that wing was so good. I know people are here making fun of him, talking about he probably got boneless wings.
Hopeful Times fan tweeted us and said, Buck is officially too dainty for Super Bowl food.
Oh, dainty.
Dainty.
Because he's going somewhere, so he said he won't. So what does he do? Just not eat, or he just gets the grapes and cheese and stuff?
100%. That would have to be it.
Oh.
Just eat a few grapes. I'm sorry, man. If I come to your Super Bowl party, I'm going to just assassinate the food.
Tell me what these initials stand for, Bananas, Mickey, if you know. Buck is a SAWFT.
Soft.
That's not how you spell that.
Yeah. Real Mike Jones said, he actually said, yes.
Nice.
The real Mike Jones said, he said fork and knife. That's how he would eat his hamburger, I think.
No, he said he would do.
Okay, fries I can see.
No, you can't.
What fries are greasy? What
No,
fries
I
are
don't.
greasy?
I don't. I eat my
Maybe
fries.
if you got a whole bunch of ketchup and all kind of crap
Why are
on
you using
there.
a knife with French fries?
Did he actually
Like
say a knife for French
I think
fries?
he said fork and knife. Like a fork, okay, whatever. You're stabbing them, picking up, and eating them. But what are you cutting your French fries for? They're fried potatoes. They fall apart.
Yeah, real Mike Jones says fries. He said fork and knife for fries.
Oh, Bucket's a wussy.
Yeah, that was Lawrence. And the F&N Bank Chat, by the way, shout out to everybody watching Zone TV. You can watch us and hang out with us every day.
And come bully Buck with us.
Okay, UW is trying to throw. Come on, man. This is a Super Bowl party. He said, I mean, if it's loaded fries, I could see a fork. He
Right,
never,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
he
if
never gave the caveat of loaded, like cheese and bacon
He just
and
said
whatnot.
fries.
He just said
the
fries.
No, he said the grease.
I'm sorry, man. But if I'm at your Super Bowl party, I'm eating everything there. No napkin-wrapped hamburger, no knives, no forks.
No.
You know,
Super Bowl food has to be eaten with hands.
tomorrow,
Don't even put utensils out, bananas.
tomorrow, I think we should have a Super Bowl food ranking in one of our segments.
Oh, okay.
I'm down with that.
I'll compile a list of the best Super Bowl foods and we'll rank them.
Check Blaine and Mickey at Blaine and Mickey on Twitter.
Maybe we put it out there
Throw
tonight.
it out there. Yeah, let's throw it out there. Let it
we don't have- we
marinate
got all these
like
guests
Buck's
tomorrow.
French fries for the night. OG says fries are finger foods. 100% they are.
Buck, where's that?
Real
What?
quickly, because Chelsa Messinger is going to join us next. The whole thing about Mike Vrabel possibly to Wisconsin that got dropped in the chat yesterday, right as we were walking in, is a
It was a real thing.
it's a real thing. Ryan Day, not Ryan Day, the other guy, his friend, Luke Fickle, said in a radio interview about Mike Vrabel. I talked to him, I think, on Saturday. We hadn't communicated for probably a week or so just because of how the process was going. He sounded like a new man. Saw the quotes. He sounded like a new man. And I'm not sure exactly if it was his choice or what it is that the future looks like. But I know we're going to have a visitor here that's going to spend a little more time, hopefully, around us, starting coming up in the spring and some things like that. See how deep we can get involved with my buddy and get him around here.
Talking about Vrabel?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was
A new
Wisconsin.
man. A new man.
What's a new man
Luke
mean?
Fickle on Mike Vrabel. Does that mean I don't even want
He's been knowing him forever. So a new man.
I don't want to control anything anymore. Also, I'm getting smaller.
I'm going to shrink.
I'm going to shrink, so I'm more appealing as a coaching candidate.
Oh, so he went to the treadmill or steam room or something?
Yeah, he's going to have himself shrunk. Honey, I shrunk the Vrabel.
Mm.
He's a new man.
Amy
I don't
Adams
want
shrunk.
control. Amy Adams shrunk him. Yeah. I'm going to get smaller, and I don't even want to control nothing.
I'm going to be
anymore.
more collaborative.
Collaborative is my middle name. I'm Mike Collaborative Vrabel. What does that mean? A new man. I mean, that'd be a blow. If any of us get a phone call today after the show, like, hey, man, that was it. It was a good run, but it's over. You'd have to gather yourself. Maybe that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Had a rough time.
Yeah, but I'm going to say this, and I know he probably doesn't want to be a college coach, but, man, he sure would be a great one. I think because in college, and this is why I say that, in college it's all about the head coach. In the pros, it's about the quarterback. And I think that's kind of the kind of control he wants. And he can make a lot more money. Job is a little tougher. You got to do the recruiting and everything else. But he's Mike Vrabel. I think he'll be a great college coach because I've said something on air multiple times about what he was doing to some of the players when he yank them out and when they make a mistake. I said that's more college high schoolish than the NFL. I hardly ever saw that in the National Football League, and especially on a consistent basis. So, yeah, those attributes of how he operates fits perfectly for college. Guess what? I got another 5-star standing on the bench there. So, hey, man, make it 10 more money.
Yep.
Was there any official title?
No, he said there
No,
is. He
that's
just
it.
said he's going to be around the
He was
program.
just hanging around,
Like Eric Bieniemy is just hanging around the Chiefs.
Right.
and he's waiting for a head coach.
And both of them are still under contract. I mean, when I say that, I mean they're going to be getting paid by other people so they can kind of, take a year off and dabble with other teams or organizations.
Rabble dabble. All right, Chelsa Messinger is here. She'll join us next live. We'll talk Super Bowl props and so much more. It is going to be awesome, so don't go anywhere. And by the way, if you miss anything, remember, anywhere you get your favorite podcast, you can get Blaine and Mickey and all your favorite Zone shows. Rate, review, subscribe. Last year at the Super Bowl, Rob Gronkowski went wide left on FanDuel's Kick of Destiny. But guess what? He's back for Kick of Destiny 2. And this time you can play along. All you got to do is choose if Gronk is going to make or miss. I think he will make it. You can get your free pick in right now, though, because if you're right, you will win a share of $10 million in bonus bets. Everyone can get in on this when Gronk takes his shot at redemption before Super Bowl 58. So whether your team make like me or team miss, you just head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get your pick in, and it is absolutely free. Then you tune in before the game to see Gronk's kick live, and you could win a share of $10 million in bonus bets if you are correct. If you are right with your pick, you're new to FanDuel, you just visit FanDuel.com/Mickey, and you are signed up and ready to go. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You do have to be 21 or older, present in Tennessee, no purchase necessary. $10 million prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct pick. Prize issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. All right, let's do this for the first time ever live in person. Dun, 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 dun. Host of the Daily Tip, Chelsa Messinger, Gallatin's own Chelsa Messinger joins us live in the studio. Live in the studio. We're not talking on the phone. It's craziness.
Vegas, because we have Nash Vegas here, so you said you take that opportunity over going to Vegas. So we really appreciate you taking that time. They are actually having a rain leak there in Radio Row, so lucky you weren't there because it might have got you wet. You didn't want to be wet out there.
Oh, was that the crisis? I heard you guys talking about that.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, some people text me and said that's what happened.
Well, we are the Vegas of the East Coast. I think that's been established, but with more potholes. Like that's.
Oh, I know the potholes.
Kind of our
well, I'm
problem.
from Indiana, so I'm used to the potholes. But man, I know it's always an issue here. But they did a much better job getting the salt out and everything else. They were quick on the ball. I'm used to 6 feet snow, considering where they used to be when I first moved here in '97. So.
Yeah, that's true. But still, we had like a week out from school.
Yeah, but the potholes still be.
Oof.
Oh yeah, well,
a week at home with your kids.
Oh,
for
I know. I always
a
used to
whole week.
laugh.
Yeah.
It's an adventure.
They're not, not prepared. You don't want your kids, on the bus and it slides.
No, for sure.
See,
No.
so that's how you got to think. But even though you're like, man, we just went to the mall. We did all kind of stuff today. Y'all weren't in school. I'm like, what do they think? The parents don't work?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to figure it out.
You just be like
Everybody
Chelsea,
doesn't
get
have,
up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work
don't have,
before everybody gets
some
up.
people don't have relatives here. They don't just
Yeah, my daughter doesn't know I work.
Right.
Because I work only when she's sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
She wakes up at 10 a.m.
What?
You little princess.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, that was, we just had a princess on, Buck Reising. He was talking about how he uses a napkin around hamburgers. He won't eat, you tell us, wings out in public because he doesn't eat like all the.
See, I agree with that take.
Oh, okay, right.
The,
Okay.
the fork and knife is weird for French fries.
Okay.
But wings in public, I do agree with that, especially for women because you wear makeup.
Right.
And so it's like you've got stuff all
Oh.
over your face. You've got to
Okay.
wipe it. And then the war paint comes off. And you're like, oh, my
But
goodness.
see, that makes
That's
sense
a real
for,
skin
for
tone.
women. But for Buck, I don't think he's wearing makeup. I don't know.
The way you describe him, who knows?
He's definitely
that
wearing
mean?
makeup.
That was like, yes.
He's
But
definitely
I
wearing
think
makeup.
if
Oh, he's
you're
definitely
having a
wearing
Super Bowl party, chicken tenders or chicken nuggets are a better finger food than wings.
Got you. So you don't make all the mess.
Right.
Oh, man.
And it's still good. Like, who's going to turn down chicken tenders? Nobody.
Oh, all the wings are
Do you
so
wrap your
good.
hamburger with a napkin?
No.
Because you don't want all the
grease. He
to
said he
come out
wraps his
flat
hamburger
out
with
the
a
back.
napkin.
You just hold it over your plate and bite.
Well, and especially if you're going to have a burger, where are you at? You're at a barbecue. You're doing something like low key.
Yeah.
So, like, it's fine if you drip some on your, shirt or whatever. But it's not as messy as wings, though. Wings are
Okay. All
a
right.
little too messy.
All right. She said for the ladies, but she said for us fellas, she didn't think that was an issue.
Well, I mean, doesn't sound like it's an issue for you guys.
No, not me.
All right. Is it an issue for you that the 49ers are still favored in this game?
It is a little fishy.
Okay.
Because we have been seeing an influx of money come in on the Chiefs. Right now, I think it's still set at like 73% of the money, 73% of the bets on Kansas City. But yet this line's not moving. And I will say it's in the dead zone to where, if it's at 3, that is a different handicap as opposed to, if it's 2, because, most games aren't decided by 2 points. Mark my words, maybe it happens here. But still, we talked to a trader from BetMGM this week, and he said most of the bets are most likely to come closer to the big game. So we could see this line move. If you do like the Chiefs, go ahead and get them at +2, because I would say most casual bettors will probably be on the Chiefs, and they will probably put in their bets closer to game time. So wouldn't be shocked if this line moves.
Wait, real quick, though. Is this the setup? Like, tell us how the real game works. Like, do they make it 1.5, 2 points for the 49ers when they know Vegas that they're going to put all the money on the Chiefs? Everybody's going to go for Mahomes, and then they collect a boatload of money.
I mean, we'll see. But the other part of the equation here is before the season takes place, they take in a bunch of big money bets in the futures market. So they have some liabilities on San Francisco right now that goes into the equation.
Thank
So
you
it's
for
not
helping me.
just the money that comes in for the Super Bowl. And I will say that will probably trump the amount of money that was in the futures market. But I have heard behind the scenes that, there are some other things that go into it when it comes to the futures market and when it comes to some of the liabilities coming into the season.
Oh, okay.
Chess, not checkers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. That's what she knows. I don't know anything about gambling, but she always helps me out. So I can at least explain.
Unless it's
explain to
coaching
my friends.
odds. What are the odds for this coach to go to this place? And every time I tell you, BetMGM doesn't offer those odds, and I have to think of some way to spin it.
Well, you've done an excellent job. You've come a long way to deal with Ding Dong over here, but that's okay.
Those
Not
are
what I'm saying.
offshore.
Not what I'm saying, but scrambling in the pocket a little bit.
yeah,
But
that's okay.
maybe we see Brock Purdy do that.
All
That's
right.
one of my bets I'm on.
All right.
Brock Purdy over his rushing prop, 12.5.
Okay,
But
your
here's the
favorite?
thing.
Okay, how? Because I looked, there was they won 5 games this year where he ran for 1 or no yards. Then he had a 2-yard game and a 4-yard game. Tell us how to see the future on this.
So do you think the Niners win this game? Because that sounds like if you're correlating those bets, you would say he doesn't have to run.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a closer game. And I do think that this is the biggest game of his career. And think of all the narratives. Brock Purdy's a game manager. Brock Purdy's just dumping it off to his weapons. He scrambles for a few plays. That's how you make your name. I'm not saying that he's doing it because of that. I am just saying that we have seen it in the last 2 games. In the last 2 playoff games, he has gone over 12.5 rush yards, and he had a huge game against the Lions.
Yeah.
Rushed, I believe, 5 times over 50 yards on the ground, including a huge pickup at the end of the game for a first down. So even though he's not Lamar Jackson, and speaking of, the matchup is good for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have let quarterbacks run all over them. We saw what Josh Allen did when over his rushing prop in the first half of that game against this Chiefs defense. And then Lamar Jackson didn't get his rushing prop, but still rushed for at least 45 yards. So 12.5, that's a really low number. I think Brock Purdy can get it.
This is not betting advice from Chelsa Messinger, but from the Daily Tip. But tell us what you would do
What I would do? What?
as far as your bet.
Oh, well, here's the conundrum. At the end of the game, and the game is over, you want to be able to look in the mirror and say, okay, I had all of the information in front of me. Did I make the right call? Because all of the factors are pointing in the direction of the Chiefs. They're the team that looks better. In the recent stretch, the defense has been absolutely lights out. It's not even been Patrick Mahomes. It's been that rush offense that's been so good as well, with Isaiah Pacheco leading the way. And plus, the experience factor. Andy Reid's been there, done that before. Kyle Shanahan maybe clamps up in the second half. But here's the other thing about sports, that they can be unpredictable at times. And it just feels like everything has been going in the right direction for the Kansas City Chiefs. Meanwhile, it feels like the 49ers have been underachieving the last 2 games. They have yet to play 2 good halves of football. And so I'm thinking eventually they're going to put it all together. So, in the world of sports, it feels like this could be the game where even we see this all the time in championship games. Just because the better team is out on the field doesn't mean the better team wins. A lot of it is execution. So it just feels like a coin flip to me. I'm not going to go against Patrick Mahomes, who's 10-1-1 against the spread as an underdog.
That's tough.
What am I going to do there? So it feels like I have to be on the Chiefs, but I would not be shocked if the Niners pull it out somehow.
Hanging with Chelsa Messinger in studio, host of the Daily Tip, and finally hanging out with us, trying to give you some tips about how to bet the Super Bowl. All right, how much money do you think the Swifties are pumping into the Chiefs market right now?
Well, think of the biggest Taylor Swift fans you know. Are they betting on sports? Do they have a
probably not.
sportsbook app on
If
their
I'm
phone?
guessing, no.
No.
Am I right there?
I'm
Well,
not
maybe
gonna,
they are now because
I'm
they
not
know
going
she's
to
going to be there.
stereotype.
They jumped into BetMGM now so they could bet on Taylor's
I
boyfriend.
think they would rather buy albums. The only thing I can think of, and I'm stereotyping here. I'm sure there are plenty of Taylor Swift fans,
I don't know.
because I'm a female, and people always assume that I'm a Taylor Swift fan, which I like her.
Yeah.
I don't know her favorite color, or her favorite number that
Okay.
everybody.
She eats her French fries with a knife
87.
and fork. Yeah.
I thought her favorite number was it 13?
Oh.
I've been fed the wrong information.
Who's 13?
It is 13.
No, not
Listen
the
to-
person.
I
Listen
know.
to Swifty.
I was just
Bananas
messing.
in there.
It is
Oh, it is 13.
Yeah, Bananas just told us in our year 13.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh my gosh. See,
You're
this
right.
is the problem. I'm expected to know all of these things about Taylor Swift, and I just don't know. So that's the problem with this week. I'm ready for this to be over. But you're right. But the problem is Travis Kelce right now, he's the hot guy. And everybody is saying it's so square to look at Travis Kelce and bet on his props and whatever just because he's dating Taylor Swift. But here's the thing. Travis Kelce has been a postseason monster. So he has not looked himself for most of the year. But when we talk to our affiliates that are in Kansas City, they've said that he's been nursing some injuries during the regular season. And he has looked kind of hobbled. He didn't look like himself during the regular season. Now he has a new life breathed into him. He's talking trash. He's playing with a confidence. And this is when he really shines. I'm going to be on Travis Kelce anytime touchdown -110. This man has 19 postseason touchdowns. Yeah. Why would you not look for your most reliable target in the end zone? He is the security blanket to Patrick Mahomes like Gronk was to Brady. So I'm going to be on his touchdown. Square or not, let's go Kelce.
Nick says in the FNN Bank chat, they probably need to win these bets so they can afford to go see her concerts.
Right.
Talking all kinds of stuff with our friend Chelsa Messinger. Do you have any Taylor Swift-related props, though, maybe that you like?
None?
I did see where you can bet on the color of shirt she's wearing.
Ooh, red,
and it feels like, it's a limited option.
Yeah.
Like you're either going to do red or maybe white.
White.
Maybe black. But she's been wearing Chiefs colors. Because I know some significant others don't wear the team garb, but she's been very, very much decked out in Chiefs gear. So, you take the red or white. I think they're both plus money. So, if one of them hits, you're up some money. But again, that's not my sharpest handicap.
Okay.
It's Taylor Swift's attire.
Okay. All right. Well, we can lean into maybe what are some of your favorite bets here, hanging out with our friend Chelsa Messinger on Blaine and Mickey.
Yeah, typically, what are the most popular bets for the Super Bowl?
As far as categories?
Yes,
or
categories.
People love betting on the coin toss.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tails never fails.
I used to call tails every game. That's
the
'cause of that.
one-sentence handicap that everybody says to me, they're like, Chelsea never loses.
There's a six-figure bet on the coin toss out there already. Somebody bet $100,000 on it.
It didn't show my name, did it?
No.
Okay.
You're okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, what are you doing betting on the coin flip?
Yeah, because
here's the thing about the odds.
Tails never fails.
Well,
Look
the
at me
odds,
like I'm crazy.
the odds aren't true. Like they're not.
Oh, now you tell me.
No, but what I'm saying is it should be an even money bet. You should get the same amount on both sides, and it's juice. So you are paying the books a tip basically. And so you're not even getting the correct odds. So it's like a bad bet in general, let alone it's literally a coin flip. But, but here's the thing about Super Bowl bets. If you're having fun, you want to, throw $5 on something, just do it responsibly. It's fine.
All right. What about who scores last to win it? Is that a prop bet? Or is that, I'm just making that up?
I think you can bet on last touchdown scorer, but it's really long odds.
Oh.
Because, how do you predict that? Seriously.
I don't know.
You played football.
I just played at it, but I definitely wasn't betting because, I wasn't betting.
But do you get what I'm saying? Is when you try to bet, from my angle, you're trying to find a way to put some logic and reasoning into what you are betting. You can have a gut feeling.
Well, I just think about our Super Bowl, or the one I played in, and we scored last, but we didn't win.
Right.
So typically, if the team that scores last, if it's a close game, you would think that they have a better shot or odds of winning. So that's kind of what made me think about that odds, because now I'm always thinking about Tom Brady's always driving down to get that last field goal, that last touchdown when he was with New England. That's kind of how it happened. So I just don't know if that was ever a prop bet. The team that scores last usually wins. I don't know.
It probably is, but I haven't looked into it. So I don't know how to give you a sharp answer. But there's literally 1,000 bets on the Super Bowl. There are so many ways to bet on the Super Bowl. It's absolutely wild. Remember last year I was telling you guys about the octopus bet?
Yes.
That's a thing. Where if you haven't...
And it hit, right?
Yeah.
The octopus hit.
Yeah. So it's crazy odds. It's plus 8,000 or something. And what it is, octopus, 8, it is when a player of the same team scores a touchdown and then the ensuing 2-point conversion afterwards. 6 plus 2 is 8. So...
Oh, excuse you.
We got to get her into her big giant cup of water.
I was going to ask also.
Yes.
That she just took a bite of bad octopus.
Yes.
That's what happened. But you be all right? Oh. But I was going to also ask about how long the anthem is. That was a big one. I remember learning that one. We had Tina Turner, I think, did our Super Bowl. Is that who did our Super Bowl? I was in the locker room, but I don't know. But I just remember seeing her in the tunnel. And I was like, "Ooh, her quads are thick, boy. She looked like she could play some football."
She was probably 60 years old then too.
Oh man, she was ripped.
So
Dang.
So Blaine, I went in and I looked. So this is on FanDuel. You can bet the jersey number of the first touchdown scorer or the jersey number of the last touchdown scorer.
Oh.
I saw one
See,
bet
I
you
like
could bet
that.
the total yardage amount on all touchdowns scored combined.
So like if
When
it's
she
like
says it's 1,000 bets for the Super Bowl, by the
That's
way,
what I said. They go crazy over, and I love these prop bets, man. That's why I would get addicted. That's why I do not bet.
So you could
oh
do
no,
like
you could get lost in these things.
so like a 34-yard touchdown plus a 17-yard
Yes.
touchdown plus a 10-yard touchdown.
I want to say it was like 60-something yards. It was what the bet was. And I don't remember for sure because I was just dumbfounded that this was a bet. But again, Chelsa was, she's getting a drink of water, getting herself in order. But yeah, there were so many different bets that you could make. But again, total yardage on all of the touchdowns scored in the Super Bowl.
Shortest touchdown scored is an option.
Oh,
Like
could be
what
a
is the
1 yard.
shortest touchdown? So the under 1.5 or over 1.5.
Watch this.
Oh, wow.
I'm about to get you because we were talking about this earlier today with Buck. Favorite food for a Super Bowl party? Is that a prop bet?
Well, no, because how would you prove
I don't know.
like what sold the most in the U.S. that
Maybe
week?
they just used the Super Bowl facilities, what they sold the most.
Ooh, that'd be. I mean, somebody offshore's got to be offering something about food. They offer everything.
I don't know. It was kind of crazy. I'm trying to get the craziest thing I could think of.
All right, let's do this. Let's send a search party. We'll check on Chelsa. We'll come back. We'll finish up the show. Hopefully we can squeeze in a couple more Vegas questions for her. Also, the Titans have a new OC, and Vols fans might very well know this person, not an OC, quarterbacks coach. They have a new quarterbacks coach.
Ooh.
And Vols fans might very well know this person and people from Jackson, Tennessee. We'll explain next.
We got to check on Chelsa. Hey, this is Blaine Bishop, and I'm excited to tell you about Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, or as you may know them as TOA. And TOA has 29 locations and over 100 orthopedic physicians throughout Middle and East Tennessee to take care of all your musculoskeletal needs. In addition to their orthopedic clinics and urgent care facilities, TOA offers physical therapy, hand therapy, and sports performance training for teams and individuals at their sports performance centers. And as a former professional athlete, I know how important access to expert orthopedic care is. And whether you're an athlete, active adult, or just looking to get back to living your best life, you can visit TOA online at TOA.com. That's TOA.com. Or you can call them at 1-855-NEED-TOA. That's 1-855-NEED-TOA.
Life is busy. We could all use some extra time in our day, which is exactly why Two Rivers Ford offers mobile service. We'll bring the service to your driveway at no additional charge. Oil changes, brakes, batteries, the certified technicians at Two Rivers will perform basic maintenance on your vehicle wherever you are, so you'll have more time for moments like this. Schedule your mobile service appointment by scanning the QR code or calling Two Rivers Ford today.
There's great concern for Chelsa Messinger.
I know.
There's great concern. She is okay.
She's doing fine.
She's been under the weather. She was a soldier. She came in today, did the show.
Yeah.
Voice was failing. Her voice just gave out on her. So it's Super Bowl week. She said, I've been under the weather, but we're doing these long shows about the Super Bowl. I didn't want to let you guys down, but she is okay. Everything is okay.
Yeah.
She's got her water. She's recuperating backstage.
Yeah, we let her voice relax for a little bit.
Yep.
She's hanging out with Lucas and Jackson.
Oh, my gosh. Well, she'll never come back. That'll be the end of that. Titans have a new quarterbacks coach, and we were checking this out when we got here. I think it was Jackson or Bananas one who that's a Tennessee guy. Bo Hardigree, 39 years old, signed as the Titans quarterbacks coach. This is reportedly, I think Rap Sheet had it first. He was the interim OC for the Raiders last year, and they were 23 points a game after he took over for McDaniels.
Yeah, with what's the kid's name from Purdue, the quarterback? I want to say O'Donnell, but that's not it. O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, O'Connell.
Yeah, my neighbor's son is Aiden O'Connell.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is from Jackson, Tennessee.
Yeah, he went to UT, right?
Went
he was
to UT.
the backup quarterback?
Yep, 2003 to 2006. So we're let's try to find any stats on him. Maybe he got in a game.
He did. He did a game, but no stats.
Okay.
Oh, he just handed the ball off.
That's what we think in one of his UT bios. Because if you play for a team years ago, we go to Ball State's account right now, it might even have Blaine Bishop.
No, they got those in the archives.
Okay. But most college teams will go way back for as long as they've been digitized online. You can find every team. So we found it looked like he was record as playing in one game at Tennessee, but no stats. So that if he had knelt down, he would have -3 yards rushing. So he doesn't have that. So we think he got in and handed off. Either way.
Did him and Ramon overlap?
Yes.
1 year or
Yes,
so?
they were on the same team.
Yep. So Ramon's teammate.
Yeah.
From Jackson, Tennessee. Birthday is July 5th, and reported to be the new Titans quarterback. So nice results from him in Las Vegas last year. He was quarterbacks coach, interim OC. He was a Patriots offensive assistant in 2021. Before that, he was a Jets offensive assistant. Before that, he was a quarterbacks coach with the Dolphins. Before that, he was with the Bears in 2015 as offensive assistant. But lots of this goes back to the Broncos in 2014, offensive quality control coach with the Broncos.
Oh, that's their kind of okay.
Yeah.
Connect.
Interned at LSU, graduate assistant at Duke. But pretty cool, a Tennessee guy who played quarterback at Tennessee and got to soak up some coaching there and learn the ropes. And now he's coaching quarterbacks for his home state professional football team. That's an unbelievable story.
Oh, I bet that's awesome. Back at home by Jackson, man. Jackson's going to have a parade. Jackson, Tennessee, I mean. Mm-hmm. He's got one of ours.
Yeah, I mean,
That's great marketing.
Yeah, that's very cool for sure. So,
Yes, I did not give Chelsa a Heimlich maneuver.
Oh, gosh.
And make sure, Bananas left her mic on the whole time.
Just for a second, and then I turned it off when I realized that. I thought she was going to get
She
over
did
it
try
for
to
a
come
second.
back, though. It was a tough
She tried to
call by
fight
him.
through it.
Yes,
Lawrence says in the F&M Bank chat, Mickey has that cloud of farm death around him.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
By the way, if you want to understand death in the country, go back and listen to the podcast of yesterday's show. Everything dies on the farm, either by choice because you eat it or not by choice because something hits it. Or something shoots it.
Or something eats it.
Oh,
Yeah, that was first.
As in not a person.
Well, that's true. Animals eat each other, but it's just, survival of the fittest, I guess. But yeah, people eat animals. Animals eat each other. Farm implements hit things, trucks, cars.
I'm curious to see the relationship between Callahan, Holtz, and now Hardigree with Will Levis. Because I'm pretty sure when Callahan got hired, I think we all thought, okay, that's the guy Will Levis is really going to be running through. So I want to know, I'm interested to see how much input Holtz and Hardigree have in terms of his development and his game when it comes to playing quarterback for the Titans.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm interested in, to that point, I think the quarterbacks coach is probably when they have quarterback meetings, he'll be running that meeting. The offensive coordinator then runs the coordinator meetings, which Callahan could be in or not, both of those meetings. But if he can't with his head coaching duties, he won't be in those meetings. But they will be the same mindset of how he thinks. I'm sure he'll try to be in those meetings, especially in the beginning. But as time goes on, at a certain point in time, you can't be everywhere in one place. So that way everybody's staying on the same page and, there's no miscommunication. That's why you got to have a quarterbacks coach. We probably run a quarterbacks meeting, which is usually early. OC runs the OC meeting. Quarterback coach sits next to the quarterbacks, make sure everybody's on the same page. So that's why I think all those meetings. Ultimately, I think when they're on the field, Callahan's going to be the one probably talking at least early on. But, you want to make sure your coaches are also capable and you want to step over them. So that'll be interesting to see how it'll be all disseminated to who does what duties to Bananas points.
And this is a guy, because we've been talking a lot about quarterbacks and the guys in the Super Bowl and Purdy and Mahomes, and Will Levis has every tool in the toolbox that you would need to. He can make every throw.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can't do with his arm.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like you're saying, okay, he's got okay arm strength. He's pretty good anticipatory thrower. How do we? No, he can make every throw is in this arm. Mm-hmm. So you have no limits, right? Other than just whatever limits. I don't know.
It was hard to evaluate if he could be consistent because of the pass rush. So then that kind of sped up his clock. And that's what people were talking about. You can ruin him and all these different things. But at the same time, you get to see that he's tough. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get rattled. So there's some good things that came about it too. So now when he has to throw on time and anticipate throws all the time, make the right decisions all the time, can he do it on a consistent basis if he does get those protections? Or is he a guy that gets up to bat and he's always looking for the home run shot? See, Mahomes used to do that. See, or do you be patient and take what the defense gives you? And then you hit them with the home run after they say, this is frustrating. Y'all continue to move the ball on me. Now I take you downtown. Or, you playing man-to-man. I think that's the best thing, most teams want to do to get after the quarterback. But that's right up his alley because we're going to go downtown on you.
Well, we know he can go downtown because we sure saw that even in the first start. Those throws were so accurate. And, man, they did everything they needed to do. All right, we've done everything that we needed to do today. 3HL is still live in Vegas. They'll tell you about this roof leak that, derailed some things up there today. I know this. Your garage is never going to leak because we're powered by All Four Seasons garage doors. You need to be powered by them as well. But it's time for us to go because we got to get out of here.
Before we go?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, you guys, Titans fans, you're going to want to tune in.
Oh, yeah, because we about to freak out.
We got some good interviews.
Javon Curse and Neil O'Donnell. Dang.
Woo! We just make it a whole crew. Maybe we'll get Low Daddy, too.
Let's try. Let's just get everybody, your whole team. Entire 99 Titans. We'll squeeze them all into the studio tomorrow.
Oh, that would be hilarious and fun. Oh, my gosh. You'll see another side of me.
I want to see that.
They all have stories about me, I'm sure.
Yes, I want to hear all of them. But in the meantime, in between time, peace.